Building off my last video about the American dream, let's talk about something that's destroying it for a lot of people: impatience. Impatience is ruining the lives of every young person in America. We all have this sense of entitlement and a belief that life is too hard and we can't overcome the financial struggle. This usually leads into a couple of different financial pitfalls. One being an unwillingness to invest or bide the time to earn real money. The other being a gung ho approach that thinks they can beat out the market with day trades. I know so many people who proudly say they've invested in the stock market, but after just a few minutes of talking to them, I usually find out they've barely made any money, or worse, they've lost it. Here's the truth. Too many people think they're smart enough to live like they're on Wall Street, but if you were really built for Wall Street, it's probably where you'd be. Stop gambling with the market. Day trading isn't investing, it's gambling. Long-term investments and slow growth, that's safe growth. Option trading, margins, hedges, those are not safe, ever. And let's be real, a few dollars here and there flipping stocks isn't going to make you a millionaire, but investing consistently over time can. And if you stick with it, it will. Here's a hard stat for you. 97% of day traders lose money. On average, they end up with negative 4.5% returns. If you think you're going to beat the market better than the men and women who've dedicated their entire lives to it, I hate to say it, but you're wrong. Impatience is killing your wealth and holding you back from your dreams. And seriously, don't trade on margin. If you don't know what that is, it's when your broker gives you money to trade with. If the trade doesn't work out, you lose, and now you owe money as well. So now you're in debt and you've taken a loss. That's a financial prison sentence. The smartest thing you can do with your extra money: put it into safe, long-term investments, use tax advantage accounts, and pay off all your debt. That's the foundation. Do this consistently and you could retire early. You could pass down millions to your kids someday. And yeah, it's morbid, but don't we all want to leave that kind of legacy? Let me put it this way. Think back to a time when you took a risk you were unsure about. Maybe you texted your crush and told them how you felt. Maybe you were terrified of the rejection, and when it happened, it stung. Or think about being in a casino. You walked in okay with losing some money, but when you're down, you want it back. So you keep playing, and you keep losing. That's what you're doing when you chase losses in the market. You're gambling. Now, I'm not saying never day trade, but if you do, it should be after you've built your financial safety net. If you're maxing out your Roth IRA and 401k every year, and you're completely debt-free, then sure, play around with a few extra dollars. But never risk the important stuff. Would you take the down payment for your future home to the casino and try to double it? I sure hope not. So remember that every time you gamble on a bad stock, you're shaving off a piece of that dream. And I want to address the mental health side of this too. When you're glued to the market, you're constantly under stress. I remember when I threw $10 into crypto in college, it took off. I was hyped. Finally making some real money. But then it started tanking. Suddenly I didn't know whether to sell or hold. I panicked, I sold it, never recovered the full gains. And yeah, it was only $10, but that little win gave me a taste of something addictive. So I started throwing in more. Never more than I could afford, but when you're living off minimum wage in college, any loss hurts. Kept playing, kept losing. I wasn't learning, I was spiraling. I started checking charts every spare second. It got in the way of school, of relationships, even my health. I stopped going to the gym. I wasn't really myself anymore. Eventually, I quit. I shifted my focus to long-term investing. I invest in my Roth 401k, and I almost never look at it. Maybe once every few months, just out of curiosity. Because even if it dips, I know I've got 25 plus years to recover. And I believe it will, because I'm invested in smart, solid assets. I'm stress-free now because I prioritize tax advantage accounts and long-term growth. If you want the same peace of mind, follow my lead. Build your wealth slow and steady. Watch it work. With all this being said, I don't want to turn people away from taking risk. Risk in life is necessary, but we all need to learn when the risk is worth the reward. So ask yourself before you commit, is the juice worth the squeeze? One decision today, 100 options tomorrow. Good night.